Being sensitive to transgenderism is now far more important than the murder of children. News today is that UK taxpayers will be paying £20,000 for a transgender murderer in prison who's been accused of having sex with women while in prison to be flown hundreds of miles to undergo a sex change surgery procedure. The Daily Mail is reporting today, sadistic killer who was born a man but sent to a female prison for murder because he identified as a woman only to be moved for sleeping with inmate is set for £20,000 sex change operation paid for by you. Paris Green was born Peter Lang, but was identified as female since 2011, jailed in 2013 for killing Robert Shankland, who was tortured for several hours. Victim's family is furious. She is set to receive a full gender reassignment surgery. Most Scots having NHS ops sent to the private Nuffield Hospital in Brighton. Now look at the state of this. This is the woman we're talking about here. Amazing. A murderer, a sex pest, being given £20,000 of surgery because feelings. Look at the state of that. Jesus Christ. And this isn't the only example, by the way, of killers being afforded gender sensitivity. Oh, no. News this week as well is about Ian Huntley. Now, if you can't remember Ian Huntley, if you're a British viewer, you definitely remember Ian Huntley. But if you're an American or a Canadian, on August the 4th, 2002, two schoolgirls, Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman, went missing in Soham in Cambridgeshire. I remember this. I was only a kid, but I remember this. It was all over the news. I remember my poor grandmother getting really upset watching the television, watching this. And it was sad. The whole country was moved by this. And it was the biggest manhunt the UK had ever seen looking for these two young girls. Everyone searched for the girls, but 2 weeks later, their bodies were found. They were brutally murdered. And they'd just been dumped in the countryside a few miles away from their house. And it turns out the murderer was Ian Huntley. He killed them. And he worked at the school. Not only did he work at the school, but he helped the police with the searches and appealed on national television for help to find the bodies. That's the gumption this guy had. And now, this scumbag, this murdering, child-killing scumbag, wants us to respect him and call him Leanne. No, I won't. The Telegraph reports Soham killer Ian Huntley is reportedly asking inmates to call him Leanne, a female version of his name. No. The child murderer, 43, he must have been young when he did this. The child murderer, 43, who's serving a minimum of 40 years, should be life, real life, at Durham Franklin's jail, used his new name to sign a newspaper cutting for a friend, The Sun reported. Huntley's been telling everyone to call him Leanne, a source told the newspaper. It's getting him loads of attention and he feels like a bit of a celebrity inside, which itself makes him feel a bit safer. He's taking pleasure in signing everything for as many inmates as possible with his new name. I guess it's easier for a child killer to be seen as a helpless little woman, I suppose. Is that what he's thinking? Sexist. And the Lib Dems, amazingly, the Lib Dems are saying that it's transphobic to call the guy Ian. The Lib Dems are defending Ian Huntley. You couldn't make this up. Take a look at this Twitter exchange. So Alistair Calder McGregor says, I'm a member of the Lib Dems Federal Policy Committee. Lib Dem policy, which was explicitly stated in the most recent manifesto, is that prisoners should be held in facilities which reflect gender identity, not birth gender assignment. So if a man wants to identify as a woman, a male rapist wants to identify as a woman, stick him in a women's prison. What could go wrong? Zetetic Elench, hi Alistair, do you think people referring to Ian Huntley, the child murderer by the name and sex recorded on his birth certificate, should be banned from Twitter? He says, no, I'm a liberal. I'm very rarely in favour of banning things. If you want to make yourself an obvious transphobic arse, by dead naming a trans person, whoever they are and whatever they've done, that's your moral failure in public. And somebody called Trudy said, Lib Dems, and you wonder why you are unelectable. Your reps are giving morally questionable support to a sadistic child murderer, ignoring professional opinion, and allowing this male psychopath to torment the families of his victims. This is sickening. Good on you, Trudy Lynch. Absolutely right. Here, Alistair then went on. He said, treating everyone, even those whose offences sickens us, fairly and even-handedly is what separates us from them. I'm sorry that you believe it appropriate to force trans women into male prisons where they'll be in great danger from other inmates. Ian Huntley in great danger for being trans. To be honest, I think Ian Huntley will be in great danger for murdering children. Usually, child murderers don't go down well amongst robbers and burglars in prison. Sorry, Alistair, but I don't really care about the rights. I don't really care about the safety of Ian Huntley. being concerned about what names we call child murderers goes beyond compelled speech. This is insanity. The left is getting more insane by the day. Not only do we have to call men women, not only do we have to accept the 75 genders, not only do we have to change every single form we have in the hospital and confuse the hell out of our nurses, not only do we have to impose this crap on our kids, now we have to be concerned about the gender identity and the feelings of murderers like Ian Huntley. I'm sorry, Ian Huntley, I'm not going to call you Leanne. You're not Leanne, you're Ian. You're a scumbag child killer, and I don't care about your feelings. I will not stand by either, by the way, while tax money is being used to pay for other murderers to have sex reassignment surgery. The madness must end. Prison is there to keep dangerous people away from the population. If that means a gender-confused murderer has to live in a prison amongst men who want to kill him, you know what? That's fine with me. If you want to see more from me and the rest of the Rebel team, be sure to download the brand new app from the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.